Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, I have never been more disappointed in my entire life than I have as of right now. Now, as you guys probably know, when it comes to video games as a whole, JRPGs, whatever it might be, trying to look at the hot tub section up on Twitch, there's a certain finesse, there's a certain class, there's a certain vibe on things that you want to go and see. Now, when it comes to games out there too, especially in JRPGs and Asian style games, there is a certain style. Think Stellar Blade, think Final Fantasy, whatever it might be, and people enjoy that. But one thing to note is that Microsoft, for whatever reason, is trying to go and take away the joys of mankind. And this is where I have to go and draw the line and call out Microsoft and call out Xbox and say that this is why some people may not like your console. Now, you guys might be thinking over here, like, scrubbing, what's going on with this? What's with the hate? What's with the uprise? What's going with the pain and the suffering? And what is with the actual hurt feelings you have when it comes to video games? And this is in regards right now where Microsoft is speaking the unspeakable, disappointing people with a heart and a soul. This is where Microsoft is now cautioning developers to avoid the curvy female characters. Xbox, how could you, man? How could... There is one thing you don't do. And you don't go and come between a man and anime booba. This is not what you're supposed to do in life, man. This is not the vibe you're supposed to push. And how could I go and sit there and enjoy, like, some Tifa in a bikini, some Stellar Blade booty, all this type of stuff, man. Like, why can't you just go and appreciate this for what it is? And Microsoft doesn't understand the core of gaming. Is that if you have to sit behind a character for 50 plus hours playing an RPG, and if you're looking from behind, you got to enjoy the behind, man. And this is where I have to go and start my rant. And I hope you guys agree and subscribe. Check out the Twitch and Twitter down below because this is rough. Xbox, Microsoft, what are you thinking? What are you doing? There's a certain thing over here. Let's go pop up over some Stellar Blade over here for a second up in here in the background where there is a style. There is grace. There is actual... I was going to say, like, monetarily, but I guess kind of if you look at Twitch streamers or whatever it might be, some anime girls or whatever, but you got to appreciate the outfits. You got to appreciate the waifus. You got to appreciate what's going on in the game because, god dang, you got to go appreciate this and how it is. You got to get those style. You got to get the creativity. You got to get the line shimmering in the perfect directions. You got to get the bikini scenes or whatever it might be. And Microsoft, for whatever reason, doesn't appreciate it. And that's why sometimes the PlayStation does win the console war. Because you go and you see games like Final Fantasy, Stellar Blade. We got this thing as a huge, ginormous space dog, wolf, bear thing with 3 different claws. That's cool. And you guys want to know what also is even cooler at the end of the day? Anime waifus, my dudes. Anime waifus. And sometimes you gotta appreciate what you gotta appreciate. And sometimes you gotta go and say up to your wife and be like, hey, yo, I love you. You're my girl. You're my dandelion. You're my whatever it might be. You're the sun on the cloudy day. But I gotta go and kick some ass with some waifus, some big booties. You know what I mean? And for some odd reason, Microsoft is actually competing against this. And this is like, I'm kind of making some jokes and lighthearted comments on this one, obviously. But sometimes when it comes to games, you want to enjoy the outrageousness of a game. You don't want everything to be corporate. You don't want everything to go be like fitted by the same T for teen guidelines that every single Marvel movie nowadays makes, because it loses the soul and loses the passion for games they will try to make. And that's what stinks. Like, you don't want to have everything be a copy and paste corporate structure where you basically have the same lines just regurgitated in different manners. You want waifus, booties, just jumping around. You want cool outfits. You want random whatever the hell this is. Like, this is what you want at the end of the day. And because it's just fun, it's different, it's stupid. Like, no one's probably taking it that seriously out there, hopefully, fingers crossed. I mean, I've seen some crazy stuff on Twitter, don't get me wrong. But when it comes to this type of stuff, it's just like chill. You just want to be able to go and enjoy the different character designs, outfits, whatever it might be. Now, I mean, I might sound like a crazy person for the first half of this video. Don't get me wrong, you guys can judge and make fun. I'm just kind of doing some lighthearted comments on it. But at the end of the day, it does actually matter. You don't want everything to be like, oh, look, here's like Halo Infinite, but here's the same structure for the previous 5 games with nothing new and nothing crazy. Sometimes you just want something dumb. Sometimes people want like the crazy stuff. Sometimes you're like an 18-year-old and you're like otaku weeb and you just want to go and see what we can go and get. Like, it's just the difference and stuff. It's like you don't want to have the same stuff over and over and over again. Now, I'm not going to be completely just going and saying like just make every character like some crazy hot waifu or whatever, but it's like the funny scenes where you going to have like stupid Final Fantasy moments over here where you're just hanging out in like the random beach scene doing random beach stuff and your characters and see them hanging out? Like, I mean, like I'm looking at a lot of stuff over here, but I'm seeing a lot of different types of things as well that are floating around and are very, very focused on the attention to details when it comes to games as a whole. But that's a big thing. Is like I said, you just like sometimes it's natural life, sometimes it's unnatural, sometimes it's bigger than life itself. But when it comes to that, is that you don't want everything to be just an Indiana Jones flown around and that's all you're kind of seeing and playing non-stop. That's literally it. It's lame, it's stupid. And let me go kind of get back to the article itself so you guys kind of know what I'm talking about. We're saying Microsoft is cautioning developers to avoid curvy female characters. Microsoft urges developers not to create female characters with exaggerated body proportions on their official site to support game devs. The site, titled Product Inclusion Action, helps customers feel seen, includes a bullet list of considerations they urge developers to make when working on their product. One Twitter user pointed out that the language expressly condemning certain female characters as reinforcing negative gender stereotypes. Now, I don't want to go and take away from anyone. If someone's, a little bit more on like the more plus size or don't have those like crazy badonky wonkies, I get it. No, I totally get it. Like some of these things are like unsustainable, crazy, like not what people are expecting for gamers as a whole. And I get to see why someone would be like, hey, this is like unattainable, abnormal, setting bad precedents, whatever. I totally get it. Sure, I 100% get it. But at the same exact time, like this is, I feel like just taking the step just a little bit too far. A little bit too much on like the wokeness, a little bit too much on the toning down the creativity, a little bit of more of the copy and paste exactly what we as Microsoft want, because this is what we want and expect for corporate reasons, for selling reasons, to not affect our shareholders or Microsoft, the company as a whole. I understand. I get it. Like, I understand, but I'm also speaking with someone with so many different female friends when it comes to game dev, when it comes to streamers, content creators, or whatever it might be, to the point where this is like, oh, too much. Like, this is a little bit of like you get the one person complaining on Twitter, and you're like, oh, yeah, we never can have anime girls with big boobies, like, you gotta chill. Like, you gotta chill. If you want to be a sellout Xbox, go be a sellout. That's fine. Like, people already kind of think that at the end of the day. Like, you are the definition of corporate chill. And that's why PlayStation does get the occasional big boom, because they're like, yeah, let's go make Stellar Blade. Let's go and go make Final Fantasy and put Tifa in a bikini. It's not like the end of the world when it comes to games out there. Now, this might be a bad take. Maybe I get canceled. I don't know. Who knows? But when it comes to most of the kind of news, like, this is not what people like to see. So, are you reinforcing any negative gender stereotypes? Are you unnecessarily introducing gender and gender barriers into your code or design? Are you creating playable female characters that are equal in skill and ability of their male peers? Are your female characters equipped with clothing and armor that fits their tasks? Has this person ever played like Final Fantasy XIV, World of Warcraft, any outside game? Now, I do agree that maybe some women don't appreciate that, but most of the women who actually play video games on a consistent basis that I talk to, they enjoy it. They meme around with it. They'll make their characters like this. I mean, I'm speaking on behalf of Twitch streamers or VTubers or whatever, but bro, they're like, look at this like sexy character I made. Like, I could probably go and show you 50 different random DMs of people's like Dragon's Dogma characters or Baldur's Gate characters, or them saying about how they want to go get with Karlosh or whatever it might be, because it's just fun, it's goofy, it's chill. But at the end of the day, if people are like, wow, this woman is not the ideal standard of what I expect, which is sometimes also equally as like negative, because you want to have a cool character that's kick-ass. Look at Stellar Blade, look at Tifa, look at Aerith, all on these characters. Yeah, these characters might have some crazy latex suits on or then a bikini, whatever, but they're all badass characters that are genuinely good characters with good, like, they have flaws, but they also have good designs. They're strong, independent women who want to have like fun in a game. And like I said, a lot of women I know are okay with just having silly, crazy stuff. I'm not seeing people really complain about this at the end of the day. And this is where things get sad on the Xbox side, because I think they just miss the mark. They just miss the mark. So recently, Western game developers have been making a point to rally against objectification in games and are citing unrealistic beauty standards set by fictional characters. Most recently, Stellar Blade has been the subject of such criticism, despite the game's heroine being based off a real-life model. Between Microsoft's developer site and Stellar Blade, it seems like there's a reversal of roles. In recent years, Sony has been criticized for censorship policies after relocating its gaming business units to California. But now people are saying the opposite. Or as of right this second, people are saying Sony's like, cool, they're vibing. Xbox is the company that's trying to be too wokey, too uptight, too like not allowing people to have that creative freedom they want. And that's, I think, a problem. So Xbox, you guys are kind of coming to prudes, and I don't mind it. I don't mind if women need to feel comfortable. I don't mind if some standards are crazy. But at the same time, not every single person has to go bend over just for someone over there who's going to complain about this at the end of the day. Because most women I know who play video games don't care. Most men who play video games don't care. And if you're someone who's on Twitter and Reddit complaining about this stuff 24/7, you probably have some bigger issues in your life, and maybe you should go and, well, do something else with your spare time too instead of complaining about a game, it said. So maybe it's a hot take. Maybe I get canceled. I'm sorry if I do. But at the end of the day, I do think it's a little bit dumb, and I do think my Microsoft is disappointing me a little bit on this one. So about the Twitch and Twitter if you guys want to. Appreciate y'all for watching. Subscribe if you guys are new, and I love you guys.